it in other countries in Africa. They're doing it in countries in Asia. Putting government on notice that we no longer need your services, y'all don't work, because somebody in the Americas reminded us that we needed to use the oral tradition in order to beat the fraud of the paperwork. Mm. So now you're seeing it. People that before would be slaughtered for trying to reclaim their tribal rights to their territory being successful. We worried about being the victim. I don't care what nobody that come over here say about me. They can't move me. They can't stop me. All they can do is be cheerleaders on the sideline for the enemy, or they gonna get out the way, or they gonna be cheering for us. There's only three positions. You either rooting with the enemy, you rooting with us, or you get the hell out the way.
Okay.
Right. So I don't care about somebody that we've been supporting all this time. They ain't never treated us right.
Man.
Why are we supporting this long?
For real. Because we were brainwashed in believing that we are them. And I always say that's what hyped them up. That's what make them think that they all that is, because we help the enemy make them think that they better than us. Because we so-called never experienced Africa, and we so-called are some
look,
type
you ain't got to experience Africa if you experience Mississippi.
Facts.
Yeah.
Mississippi, go to Louisiana, go to Texas. You got all of the African terrain in them 3 states.
For real. I'm in Texas.
If you don't want to be African, you don't have to be African. We're not. Mm. We're not African.
Facts.
You just said African is a culture. We're not African. I'm going to say it. I'm not African. I don't know your culture. I've never been to Africa. I can only be African if I've been to Africa, lived there, all of that. It's not there. It's not that.
No.
And they'll tell you that we're not them. I mean, I grew up in New York City, right? But they were very clear that they're not us and we're not them.
I'm 100% African. That's fine.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't you want to embrace, even if you thought that we were a part of you? Yes. Why wouldn't you want to come over here and embrace and not put us down? I mean, there's so much that we could say negative about Africa.
Exactly.
There's so much we could say negative about every country on the planet.
Thank you.
For real.
But if you want to be specific, I ain't trying to, because we never wanted a division. Mm-hmm. And we actually, us so-called Black Americans here, we felt sorry for them.
I didn't.
Straight up truth.
I didn't.
I did, because of the state narrative.
No, I'm gonna tell you why I didn't feel sorry for them.
On TV with the big bellies and the
all that propaganda.
And
all that propaganda.
Them come over here and ain't none of them. What's up with all of them got big neighbors? And they grown men.
Freedom.
And okay.
Thank you.
I didn't know. I'm gonna tell you why I ain't never feel sorry for them.
About the disrespect to the women, all kinds of stuff, getting away with grape. I mean, it's a whole bunch of stuff that we could say, but we don't do that. We said we wanted to welcome our brothers and sisters that are the same hue as we are from all over the world. We was, what's going on?
Oh, wait, we have HK Amswell up in here. Sorry, you've been waiting so patient. You got to jump in.
Sorry, I thought it's all good. I'm sorry, I'm going to be quiet.
Welcome to the show. And I see Dulcie in the chat. I hear y'all saying, what's up, Dulcie? What's up, mama? How you doing?
Hey, girl.
You got it, HK Amswell.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Welcome. Peace to all the family. I'm just over here rolling up, preparing the chief with the chief. So I'm gonna sit in the back. I do want to jump in the convo, but I'm gonna hit y'all as soon as I get finished twisting up this thing.
You know what? I'm gonna hurt him. I'm hurting.
I can't help it. That's my fault. He got some of that wild Mississippian blood again.
He done tempted you, girl. I'm here ready to take a break and go. Nah. But
You know what, Bad Ombre? You just said, didn't you just say your wife was blonde? Now you know what? I'm gonna hurt you. Now you said blonde wig or something.
No.
You always got something to say. You make me so sick. But I'm always happy to see him in the chat. I love all kinds of styles. I'm a styling gal. I like that. I like all kinds.
HK well is rolling up and getting ready to chief, and blow it down. We're going to do a little bit, if that's okay, y'all.
Let's backtrack for a minute and play that video I sent you because I want to see what the scripture says.
I'm having a problem downloading the video.
Okay.
I don't think she's in the chat. I think somebody thought she was or something.
Oh, okay, because I saw people saying hey. So I was like, oh, what's up, girl?
But she might pop in the chat.
Hey, look, y'all ever see this restaurant in New York with this real rude ass stuff? Be talking reckless to people, but they love it. And they pay it's a 5-star restaurant, and part of the experience is being talked to like you ain't shit.
Oh, heck no.
Listen, it's the real restaurant in New York. People, the land be out the door. People trying to get in there so that they can be talked to rude and disrespectful.
What?
By this man and his staff while they serve him this terrific food.
It would be in New York. We are very much like that. So that's
the name of the restaurant.
New Yorkers are very much like that.
Oh my goodness.
But
brother 832 said drop the link.
Huh?
The brother said drop
832. Okay. Oh, Alabama, what's up?
Who said that?
And look, I brought that up to show you how we are as a people.
Do you want me to play it on my phone and then me try to?
Wait a minute, before you leave, before we get.
I ain't talking about that video. I'm talking about the restaurant in New York.
Oh. Okay.
We know these people don't like us. We know soon as we exit that door, don't nobody look like us being in that building. We every kind of double GA they can come up with. We know this, and we patronize them anyway. Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden that we becoming self-aware, they patronizing of our patriotism of their shops is making us be like, I can keep my own money.
Right.
I don't have to be talked to like that. But we don't wake up if they don't talk to us like that. We don't start saying enough is enough if they don't disrespect us. Because we can only be disrespected so long before we say enough is enough. They know this. Yeah. Because it's the nature of who we is. We just got long-suffering patience that allow us to take it longer than anybody else, and that's why we've been at the bottom this long. Because can't nobody else take it like us, because we the strongest. And that's how the last get to be made first at the end when the new beginning turn around. The last gonna be made first. We was last.
Right.
Haiti was last. Jamaica was last. Dominica was last. So now, when we seeing all these people talking to us like we last, they saying the only way we gonna stop talking to y'all like y'all last is when y'all move into the first place. I'm not mad at none of them. I got the same sympathy for them Africans as they had for us during this 500-year conflict. I got the same amount of sympathy because everything they've been showing us going on there, it's the same people we've been fighting over here, wreaking war on Africans over there. And then they sending their cronies over here to make us think Africans don't like us. Africans ain't thinking about us. Why would they not like us? We not even part of their day-to-day struggle or their mentality. They don't walk around talking about, I'm wondering what the Negroes in America doing. That's not even on their mind. They trying to figure out how I'm going to feed this baby. Who I'm going to help me cook this big-ass meal for this whole family? They got their own set of problems to worry about. The only ones worried about us is the ones that don't want to be over there with them. And how do they get the resource to get away from them if they not helped by an outsider?
Right.
See, you got to pay attention to this stuff. It's war. Bang Dong Conference, 1954, Sukarno. All of the African and Asian nations, the 9 pale-faced nations of
Santa, don't forget what I just called you about. Just don't let me forget either, but I won't.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Talk to you later.
Okay.
Peace.
Okay, Alibama, what's up?
But wait a minute, Dots. Before we go tonight, too, I wanted Rod to speak on the fact that the all-white community.
Okay, but let's hear Alibama, and then we'll get to that after.
Okay. Hey, Alibama.
Good evening, ladies, and I won't be able to probably stay long either, but I just wanted, that was some of the questions I wanted to ask you, Brother Rod, if you don't mind, to walk with me for a little bit.
You good.
You can bounce back to that all-white community nonsense, because we've allowed them to think they can be all white. But here's the thing I wanted to ask you, Rod. Number one, El-Haj Malik El-Shabazz, he went to the United Nations, pushed human rights as an agenda. These countries, quote unquote nations, didn't even have a name. Why is it they have never respected that? Or let me say, this is my opinion. You can respond how you think. They don't even mention him to this very day. That's why they became free in the wake of the civil rights movement. What say you, brother?
Who are you making reference to? You said Malcolm
the
went to
African nations. I said when he went before the UN, trying to bring the human rights issue and elevate the confusion that was being caused by the civil rights movement. The African nations became nation states. They didn't exist before then. You see what I'm saying, Rod? They don't pay homage to Malcolm or our movement to this very day.
Look, a lot of the ones over there give Malcolm his credit, but we don't get the information. Right? The ones he mostly dealt with was in Ghana, where he spent the most of his time, and that's where he met Maya Angelou over there. And she was dating the African king at the time, and Malcolm came to see her while he was there. He only stopped in a couple of countries in Africa. In each country that he went to, I think Egypt refused him because they didn't want him to die in Egypt. And so he went to another country. But Malcolm is globally respected. They just don't want you to know he's globally respected, because most of the stuff that we fighting against is, like you said, is carryover from what he was taking to the UN when he was talking about a human rights issue, which gave rise to all of the human rights relief programs of the United Nations. But they still don't want to give us the same relief.
Or credit. That's what USAID we just saw got doged, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a peep from them. But go ahead, you still want to cook on it, because my next question is about the Freedmen and see what you say on that.
So they don't want to ever admit we did anything of renown or anything of consequence, so they can continue to downplay our movement to reclaim what's ours. The only thing they don't have an answer for is when we follow in the tribal tradition, rallying the tribes, they don't have an answer for that. But they have an answer for suppressing us, for labeling us in the media to assassinate our characters. This is part of their war protocol. It's called hang 'em in effigy. It's a symbolic lynching ceremony done in the form of prosecution of a criminal act that may or may not be true, and may most of the time be overly exaggerated to intensify the negative reaction to get your political prisoners spoiled in the eyes of any prospective jury that would hear the case. So use the media.
That's terrorism.
Yes,
that's terrorism.
They've been doing it to us the whole time. It's not new. And when that don't work, they do what they did to MOVE in 1985. They blow us up. They do what they did to that church in Alabama. They blow us up. Right?
That was done on my 5th birthday. Those girls were sacrificed. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing about the Muskogee Creek and the quote-unquote citizenship.
Okay, we're getting ready to pull up that, Alibama. That was the next thing we was getting ready to pull up. So I want you to hold that, because I want to read the article first, and then you follow up with that question, okay? Can we do that?
You got it, sis. Cook.
You went right where I wanted to go. Hold on.
Let's call it masterful segue.
Now I don't talk too fast. Hold on, I gotta pull it up, y'all. Oh, good. I can continue talking. Let me pull this up.
While she's pulling that up, I want you to tie together that if you hadn't heard, the Cherokees are now asking for Congress to fix the problem, Rod. So when she pulls the article up, could you roll those two together?
Yep. All of it is intertwined anyway with what's really taking place. Then you remember, before she pulled us up, we was erased on paper, but they couldn't remove us physically. There's too many of us and we populated too fast. So they are the few, we are the many. We just gotta remember who we are. But remember, they took us on paper and changed who we was on paper, but they didn't change who our traits and characteristics of tribal people doing tribal things everywhere we go.
Yeah. That was a good segue, Alibama. 1 second. Let me pull this up. Okay.
And if you could, while you do that, maybe put another, pull up the 3 million acres they gave to Muskogee. If you can pull that up in the back and maybe put that in the chamber. But go ahead.
While I read this real quick, do you want to just send that to me and then I can pull it up faster?
I'm going to see if I can do it. I'm on my phone, but go ahead.
Okay, so basically it says the Muskogee Nation Supreme Court affirmed that individuals who are descendants of formerly enslaved people under the tribe are legal citizens, are now considered legal citizens. The ruling comes after Muskogee freedmen have repeatedly fought for tribal recognition in and out of court alongside descendants from the Chickasaw, Choctaw, and Seminole nations. The court ruled the tribe's by blood language for citizenship requirement, the basis for denial of freedmen applications, was unlawful under the 1866 treaty, which granted freedmen citizenship status, and ruled the citizenship board must act accordingly. And there's a quote. I'm going to skip the quote. No, I'm not. I'll read the quote. The matter is remanded to the appellant citizenship board, who is directed to apply the Treaty of 1866 and issue citizenship to the respondents and any other future applicant who is able to establish a lineal descendant on the Creek by blood Dawes roll or the Creek Freedmen Dawes, the ruling said. The case was originally heard in September by a Muskogee district court judge who ruled in favor of freedmen descendants Rhonda Grayson and Jeff Kennedy. The pair were initially denied citizenship in 2019. The tribe appealed the decision, throwing the case into the hands of the Muskogee Creek Supreme Court. The Muskogee Creek Indian Freedmen Band took to social media to celebrate. After 46 years of disenfranchisement, we can finally reclaim our birthright as citizens of the Muskogee Creek Nation and honor our ancestors, the statement said. All descendants of the Creek freedmen can now claim their birthright. We pray that their ancestors are proud. A spokesperson for the tribe said the tribe may request to go back to court. Hold on, you guys. We are currently reviewing the order to understand its basis as well as its implications for our processes. It may be necessary to ask for reconsideration of this order to receive clarity so that we can ensure that we move forward in a legal constitutional manner. The tribe would become the second to grant citizenship to its freedmen after the Cherokee Nation did so in 2017. So they're delineating initially like these two groups of people, the Muskogees and then the freedmen. All right. Now, Alibama, take it away with your question.
So do you see that in the private chat?
Hold on. That got me working tonight. You know what?
You see what it says with the headline there, Dots?
The U.S. Supreme Court holds that 3 million acres of land in Oklahoma are indigenous lands. Don't tell me nothing I didn't already know. Look, okay, so let me give you a little idea.
What I'm making, Rod, is they're putting in the hands of the quote-unquote civilized, federally recognized. But go ahead, cook, bro.
Okay, so you gotta realize a couple of things. They got tribes that they had treaties with. The treaties were the written between the tribes and the colonizers
on what part of the land they were supposed to settle, but then they violated all of the treaties. Now, what we're seeing is everything you see coming in, you got to see going out. All of the,
You know we can probably hear you.
Let me go out and come back in.
No, we can hear you now.
Okay, so
if you bring that other one back up from Arizona, where they also explain or examine, I want you to walk through that, Rod, how they claim whatever they claim was the basis of them bestowing this land back to the imposters on the reservation. But go ahead, Brother Cook.
Yeah, you got to remember, when they was doing the Trail of Tears and they was creating the Dawes Road, right? All these things are contemporary. They switching us out. The elders used to tell the story when they came to get people to go on the reservation. And they used to say, the Indian train is coming. Are you getting on? And when they say, no, we're not getting on, we wasn't no longer Indians. We was Negroes now. This was the paper genocide that they was telling in the oral tradition. And the Indian schools was being populated with Mongolians, where they taught them how to be us. As they became graduates, that means they're adults now, marching on the Trail of Tears. Some of the people went with them, and this is how they got their native blood from the tribes that did go on the Trail of Tears and march to Oklahoma with them. All this land right here that you see was already set aside as the conclusion of the Trail of Tears. So when they made the treaty in 1866, they was relocating a sizable tribe from move to the Oklahoma Territory, right? All of the Supreme Court doing is saying they already had this allotted for the freedmen, and they never made it there because they end up populating various cities in the southeast because they was being murdered on the Trail of Tears. So that's so they can switch us out. So now you have the ceremonial tribe, which is not the original tribe. The ceremonial tribe can act on behalf of the tribe with the tribe's blessing if the tribe does not have a qualified member to fulfill the function. So this is why you see those Muskogee Creek that went into Atlanta and Cop City to put them on public notice. They was following the tribal tradition. And that's why she had to read it and not just pass it to him and leave it. She had this mention in there, in the document she's reading, it say both the Muskogee Creek and ceremonial Muskogee Creek. So she identifying both tribes, which is actually tribe and adopted tribe, to do the work on behalf of the tribe because most of us were scared to do it. So we had a lot of help from people that don't look like us, reclaiming everything, like the dude with the helmet sitting behind Pelosi's desk was taking us from Admiralty jurisdiction back to the Republic so that they can give it back to the tribes. As long as we was under Admiralty jurisdiction, we was at the mercy of the Vatican in Buckingham Palace. As soon as we
how citizenship has turned into a process of enslavement.
Because in order to be a citizen, you have to be registered piece of property to a nation. Every citizen's registration number is called your social security number. In Auschwitz, they called it your tattoo. It's the same thing. One was tattooed in their skin, the other one was given to you on a piece of paper. So the citizen is actually the property of the nation state. In this case, the nation state is Washington, D.C., who's a certain occupation rights in the interim capacity of government until such time as the rightful tribes remember that they had a tribal right to reclaim the land, at which time they would have to systematically close. But you have to get us back from admiralty to republic, and then you will see the courts start making the rulings synonymous with when the republic made the treaty with the tribe. We just looking at them reverse engineering the whole screw job. They just reversing the screw out. Ain't none of it new. They already owed them people that stuff. They was already promised that earlier in the corporate history. They just doubling back, trying to make it look like they was really working for us when all the time we know they've been faking the funk the whole time.
Because we're dealing with outlaws. Could you do me a favor, Dots, and go back to that Arizona article and scroll down to the Q&A portion? Because I want you to chop that up, Rod. The Q&A portion of the article.
What did you say, Alabama? Sorry.
The other article that was from Arizona, because that was referring to a book that was analyzing the Supreme Court ruling, which is McGirt versus Oklahoma. Are you hip to that case, Rod?
I'm not.
You'll see the first question.
Okay.
And if you could, maybe zoom in so Rod can see it. I'd like at least a couple of questions, Rod, if you could walk through them and respond to that Q&A. You see that back and forth going on there? Take a couple of those questions, brother. Chop that up.
Okay. You want me to ask the question? It says your book is titled A Promise Kept. What was the original promise made to the Creeks by the Supreme Court?
Did he give the answer?
You want me to read it? The promise was that in exchange for Muskogee Creek Nation homelands in present-day Georgia and Alabama, the United States would guarantee lands for the Creeks in present-day Oklahoma.
That's exactly what I was just talking about. I had the geography wrong, but this is what I was talking about.
Okay. Once on those new lands, the Creeks would govern themselves and have jurisdiction over their territories in perpetuity, which is like forever.
Yeah.
Miller says this promise to the Creeks and other removed groups was made in the 1830 Indian Removal Act, reiterated in the 1832 treaty with the Creeks, which was the Treaty for Creek Removal, and in the 1866 United States Treaty with the Creek Nation, the treaty forged after the Civil War. That's interesting. Interesting. Okay. Why weren't those promises kept? Etheridge says
they never had any intention of keeping them.
Before the ink even dried on these treaties, the federal government began interfering with Native American sovereignty and jurisdictions, right? So this thing is problematic for me already because of that Native Americans, right? Because that's always I feel like, all right, let me keep my comments on myself. All right, and once Oklahoma gained statehood, it began to encroach on Native American rights. The federal government for decades turned a blind eye to Oklahoma and other state encroachments. So why were federal and state governments interfering and trying to usurp the promise? It's fairly simple. They wanted the land. Miller says the land and all of its assets, including oil, timber, and minerals.
Now, I want you to go maybe one more Q&A exchange there, and remember Tulsa, Viola Ford Fletcher, and I'll even throw in the Osage Nation. Remember the bullshit killers of the Flower Moon, Rod? Mm-hmm. Cook, Dots, cook.
Okay, next question. Explain the Trail of Tears and other atrocities Native Americans endured because of the defiance of the original Supreme Court decision. Miller says, the Indian Removal Act of 1830 was a dark stain on American history. Today, we would call what the United States did ethnic cleansing. Other tribes were also removed to the Native American territory. My tribe was located in Ohio when we signed a treaty of removal in 1831, and then we were removed to where we are today, in the northeast corner of Oklahoma. Etheridge says, the Trail of Tears is the name of the deadly 1,000-mile route that the Cherokee Nation was forced to follow when they were moved from present-day North Carolina and Tennessee to present-day Oklahoma. It has also come to refer to the removal of any of the 5 civilized tribes, including Cherokee, Creek, Seminole, Choctaw, Chickasaw, from the southeast. The United States government, wanting to acquire all indigenous lands east of the Mississippi River, forcibly removed most of the Native Americans, nearly 100,000 people living there. Each nation signed a separate removal treaty, but almost always under threat and duress. These treaties forced them to relinquish their homelands for lands in Oklahoma, in Kansas, Nebraska, and parts of Iowa. Most resisted and were removed at gunpoint. Many of them lost their lives on the long march. Some perished once they arrived in Oklahoma because of the disease-infested and poorly supplied camps. And many simply died from broken hearts. Scholars estimate that about 33% of the Creek population was lost in the removal years. It was one of the darkest and dastardly episodes in American history.
When you pause there, Dots, and again, this is just my perspective, it could be my opinion. The Negroes died, those that may have been relocated, okay? The imposters were set up when they got in Oklahoma. You feel me, sis?
Isn't that wording problematic for y'all, the Native Americans?
It is. But let me leave you with this last point.
Okay.
The fact that Viola Ford Fletcher is still alive. The ongoing crime is the bodies are being dug up as we speak. The mass graves are being unearthed in the same land that's being handed to the imposters. You follow me now, sis?
Yeah.
But she's being referred to as black or a descendant of an African slave, and I yield.
Right.
That was part of the paper genocide to write us as African slaves, but we was here the whole time.
Yep.
The whole thing was the same story I was just telling. They just was telling in there,
Yeah.
right? And the government, remember, they had waged war against us, and they made the original treaties is between them and them, not between us. The tribal treaties that they made with the 5 civilized tribes was their attempt to hold the bear at bay. So 5,000 tribes.
Yeah.
We're not going to leave the fate of all of us to the hands of 5 tribes. Right? We had tribal networks and confederations